What universities have you applied to go to?
Applied to UCLan, Lancaster, Manchester, University of Manchester, Manchester Met and Bolton.
Which university are you hoping to get into? What's your first
First
choice?
is Lancaster.
Right.
And obviously keeping UCLan as a second choice because it's in Preston, but yeah, Lancaster's first.
Are you going to be moving away to university? Are you going to stay in Preston?
Stay in Preston.
What's the reason for staying in Preston?
Mainly because I've hardly lived away from my family, and like I can't leave my family. I can't see myself living by myself, or even with friends. I have to be at home.
Yeah.
And financial. I know my dad will help me and everything, but I'm just really worried about how I'm going to cope with it and everything, and I don't have a job at the moment as well. So it's just all that's kind of like, oh no, I should stay at home.
Do you plan on getting a job when you're at university? You're going to see your timetable?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
And that will get into, if it's UCLan, obviously you're not a million miles away. If it's Lancaster, will you get the train?
Well, I'm hoping to drive. If I pass my driving, then my friends drive as well, so we'd share the car. Oh, you'd share? Yeah, if not, then second, I'll take the train, obviously.
You've said that hopefully, your dad's going to support you financially. Do you think there's going to be any boundaries on that? Like, you can't be going out 5 nights a week?
Yeah, obviously, if dad's going to be supportive, there's going to be boundaries, but that's why I really want a job, so... as well as, because I obviously want to have fun as well at uni and not just all about studies. So yeah, and I'm hoping the grants and stuff will help me out, but I've heard the tuition fees are really expensive, so I'm just a bit worried about that.
So expensive. Has the financial aspect of going to university put you off applying at universities anywhere else? Because you've talked about it's Lancaster, UCLan, Manchester. They're only 30 minutes, 40 minutes away. For example, to study in London, the rents are so... you do get a bigger loan, but the rent's so expensive and the living costs. Has that put you off applying further afield?
Well, mainly I can't live away from family, but if the financial thing wasn't really that expensive and much of a deal, then I'd probably consider a place like London, but because it's so expensive, I don't think I'll ever be able to do it.
Does Cardinal Newman College highlight what sorts of financial situations you're going to be getting into at university?
Yeah, we've in tutor time we've done a lot of research, spent a lot of lessons doing researches, and we've been given leaflets about grants and loans and bursaries and stuff, and our tutors always informing us about stuff like that. So yeah.
When you're staying at home, when you go away, rent is the biggest cost. I think it sort of impressive. You're talking about £2,500 for your accommodation. Do you think your mum and dad are going to ask you for any rent because you're staying?
No. They're just happy that they don't have to pay extra for me.
Yeah, that's it, because it is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Student accounts, sort of with the NatWest Bank and Halifax and things, offer really big overdrafts up to I think the biggest one at Halifax is £3,000.
Right.
In my first year of university, I was like, I'm not going to get an overdraft. And in the first year I managed. In the second year I went into a house and I never had any money and ended up with an overdraft. So many students do end up... Is that something you're going to consider, or do you hope to avoid?
I really do hope to avoid... obviously I'm going to be in debt because I'm taking a loan and everything, but I really want to avoid that kind of stuff. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'll try to avoid it.
What advice have you received off your parents about sort of not only going to university and making new friends and things like that, but the sort of financial aspects where you've got this loan to pay back at the end of the day? What have you said about that?
Basically, I've got a loan, and my dad always don't forget it's a debt. You have to repay it back. So just spend it wisely. Don't go too crazy, because at the end of the day, you'll have to pay it back, and if you can't, then obviously I'll have to help you out. But I don't want parents to pay back my loan. I want to do it myself. So, yeah.
Finally, do you think that you'll cope financially?
I think I will. I've thought about it all, and it's all kind of sorted in my head. So if it goes that way, then I hope so. And obviously, I'll get a job to help me. So yeah, I should.